Everybody, Vince Dowd, founder of Authentic Elevation. I wanted to come to you and do another video on the 5 MEO DMT experience because the first video I did was my first experience and I've had a lot of people watch it, a lot of great comments. I've had some people ask me about my next experiences because I continued to experience this and I want to share with you what happened on the next experience. So I hope you stick around and watch it because it's pretty profound. And make sure you do like it, share it, and hit the bell button so that anytime I come out with a video, you can definitely be notified. I appreciate you, and I love to get your engagement, your comments. So the first time, if you haven't watched my 5 MEO DMT, I had my experience with singularity. Understanding that not only am I God, you are God, everything is God, and actually learning that God is eating itself and fucking itself. And I say that honestly. Basically, there is a process of energy doing a dance, and the dancer and the dance become the same. It's a very powerful experience, and I'm sure those of you that have done it understand what I'm talking about. So when I had the experience the first time, it left me in a very profound state of understanding, but something I can't really put in words. So the next time I did it, this time I wanted to film it. And the reason I wanted to film it is because I heard that I had moved last time, and because I believed I was laying still for however long it was, as I was becoming one with all things, I thought I didn't move, but I heard from my partner and the other people that I was actually flipping around with crazy energy. And that was weird to me because I did wake up with some pain in my leg. I guess I was stomping my foot. And so this time I wanted to get it on video. Now keep in mind, I obsessively researched things. So I had researched the Bufo 5 MEO experience, and I had read the book by Dr. Martin Ball called Entheogenic Liberation. And I know that he talks about the symmetry. When you're in symmetry, when you're moving, that's actually the medicine taking you into bliss or singularity. When you're crossing the body, it's actually ego's resistance and fighting. So my whole intention going into the second round was to be able to go in there, to let go again, to be willing to die, but also to work on just laying back and letting go instead of resisting, and to make sure when I'm conscious that I go back into symmetry so that I allow the medicine to do its work. The facilitator knew I wanted to go deeper this time, so we had a conversation about that. He let me film it, and this time I did 3 hits, so I want to share each of those with you briefly. And if you've done 5 MEO DMT, definitely let me know below. If you haven't and you have questions, feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer. But the first time I did it, on this second round, is he gave it to me, and it was really amazing because I fell back and I laid in symmetry for about a minute, and then I started to move. I'd come up and then lay back down. I'd come up almost like waves were coming over me, and then I started to come up and my hands would start doing like yogic moves. It was really interesting as I did this, and then noises started coming out. I had noises like, it was really weird. It's almost like if I looked at it on the video, I'd think I was just doing that on purpose because my eyes are wide open, although I'm not in control. It's like the energy's moving through me in the symmetrical way, and I'm doing certain releases, and then I started speaking in languages. I had all these languages coming out, which I actually, because I recorded it, was able to take those, put them on Google Translator, and the only thing that came up is it was Hindi language, Hindi. But it didn't translate any of the words. It recognized it as Hindi, but it couldn't really put it together. So I'm wondering if it was an ancient language. I don't know. It was very clear, very enunciated, very powerful. And maybe I'll show the video at some point or clips of it. If you want to see it, let me know, but I just want to be cautious about what I show. So anyway, that was a beautiful experience. I started to have these, I started to see, and my body was moving, and things were good. I was unwinding. And then what happened next was interesting because I was going through a process of purging. So I was spitting. Now, oftentimes people might throw up, but I was spitting out things. I was feeling my jaw I was doing these symmetrical moves. It was almost like a healing process. But before I was done and I was still moving through it, the facilitator came up in the middle of my legs to give me another hit. And I could tell the medicine did not want me to do that, because I was like, and I was getting ready to throw up. I had this energetic, like almost wanted to purge all over him. And he kept trying to get me to do it. And I just knew that it wasn't right in my body, or I guess the medicine knew. I went back and I laid there, and then I came back up again, and he's still trying to get me to do it. So I finally did it, even though I don't think it was the right timing at all, because I wasn't done purging. So this time I did it again, and I went back, and then it got kind of weird because the medicine I don't think was ready. So what I did is I ended up immediately crossing, which means the ego started to really struggle here with release because there was so much in me. I flipped over on my stomach. My eyes, one eye popped open. I couldn't see anything. This is just from the video that I saw. I don't remember much what happened. I ended up spinning around, kicking one lady in the face, slow motion, so she didn't get hurt. But I kicked. I was moving around so much, I knocked over the facilitator. I made a mess. And it was really messy on video. I went from somebody that looked like in a synchronistic ballet into a messy, drunk person that's high on some kind of messy drug. And after reading Martin's book, I think, number one, I shouldn't have had that administration on the second time until my integration and my process was over. But here's what I experienced, so you understand. On the second time, this is very profound to me. I experienced that human beings are creating egoic levels of unconscious patterns. And the best way I can have you imagine this is if you were a kid and you ever had a yarn, like in kindergarten. I remember we had balls of yarn. And if you dropped that ball of yarn and it went rolling across like the recess outside, that whole yarn would be filled with like wood chips and hairs and grass and dirt. And what I felt like was happening is my insides were going out, and I was like being like a Taurus. I was being moved, like the universe was moving through me. And I saw and experienced an unwinding of this egoic construct. And it was more than mine. It felt like it was the entire universe. All the people over all the planet and all the egoic structures we're building, which are a bunch of lies, because what's happening is throughout our day, we are unconscious 95% of the day. So we're operating in an unconscious thinking and imagination and memory process. And as we're doing that, when we're using our imagination, we're creating in the future, because imagination is our God process. We're creating, but because we're not conscious, we have a lot of worry and a lot of stress. And we're creating these egoic constructs that are not really good for our alignment. And then we're bringing up our memories of the past, which are usually negative. And I felt all the darkness compressed. It's like a bunch of murders and a bunch of light too, and a bunch of health and a bunch of sickness. It felt like everything at once was compact within me. And then it felt like an explosion out, where I started to unwind this ball of yarn with all the dirt and gunk and crap on it. And I'm doing all these moves, and I'm feeling like I'm exploding out and coming back in and exploding out like a pulse. And I remember I popped back in, my ego popped back in, my eye opened, and I saw Zach, my partner, and I said, we're doing the work. We're unwinding, we're cleaning up this place, the universe, all the death, and I didn't say all that, but that's what I was feeling in that moment. And then I went back into like, whatever, deep movement and so forth. And as this happened, I started to feel like we were doing this work together. Anybody who was working on consciousness, whether it's yoga or meditation or yoga nidra or plant medicines, I feel like we were working together as a team to unwind all the bullshit, the filters, the egoic constructs, and all the division, and we were working together to heal it. And I felt also that it doesn't matter if somebody else does the medicine, whoever's doing the medicine is doing it for everybody. And that's what I felt was happening for us. And I felt that as I started to come out of it, I looked at the faces of the people that were watching me, and they looked so beautiful, so innocent. And as I looked closer, I saw myself in them. And I saw every one of them as me, and I saw me as them. And I could see clearly that there is only oneness. And they were smiling, and I was smiling at them. And it was very profound for me because it was so much work. I was exhausted. And the other thing that I got out of this is when I was moving in symmetry, the first hit, for example, I was moving in symmetry. And then when my consciousness came back, or my ego came back, and I started to recognize that Vince is moving, but who's moving Vince? I started to think, and once I did that, I remember Martin Ball said, when you realize that your ego comes back, don't keep driving the bus. Lay back into symmetry and close your eyes and allow the medicine to work. So I did that. And what that showed me is too many of us in the world, especially in America, believe that we have to do more to be more. They believe we have to do more to have more. And what I learned is the universe, 13.8 billion years or maybe longer, whatever, is attempting to work through us, but we're resisting it by thinking that we know what to do. So we go out and we do our egoic things of, well, I need to work harder, I need to do this to make money, I need to do this to have that relationship. And what we're not doing is being. So in the process of us doing, we're not being. So when I laid back and I just relaxed, what happened is the universe started to move again, and I started to be moved. It's almost like the dancer was being danced. And when the universe started to move through me, my body went into spontaneous movements, releasing sounds and releasing movements and poses and yoga. And it showed me that I don't have to do anything because I'll never do the things I'm supposed to do. I'm doing what I think I should do, which is ego. It showed me that if I will just relax back into the consciousness, into my true nature, and just trust and be observant, that the universe itself will move through me, like almost like a puppet, like a hand in a sock puppet. Without the hand, the sock puppet would not do anything. We believe we're doing something because we get so attached to the sock puppet, which we think is us, which is our ego, our biogenetic suit. And what I realized was we're really just thinking that we're somebody, which we've created, which is our ego. But the fact is we are all God together. And if we will allow ourselves to be a vessel, the energy of life will move through us. It'll bring the right people, the right circumstances to show up and allow us to move in the direction of our greatest good and our greatest purpose. And that's a hard thing to do because it's doing is not what we're supposed to do. I should say it's a hard thing to be. Because to be, people think, well, I don't want to be lazy or I need to do something. You're naturally going to do something. Energy is going to move. The key is to get out of our heads about it, allow our heart to guide us, and allow energy to move through and just be observant and be a vessel. That's what I learned. Now, take that as you will. If you like it, give me a like. If you want to comment. But that's what I got, and that was very profound to me. And as I came out of this whole thing, they decided there was another person that was going to do the medicine, so they took me over to the grass, and they gave me one more hit, but this time it was not synthetic 5-MEO, DMT, it was the frog, the actual natural frog venom. And this time I don't remember anything on that one. They didn't film this one either. But what happened was I ended up really dirty when I came out of it, and apparently I was rolling around in the grass and in the mud, pulling it up and throwing it all over myself like a little kid. And I guess it was pretty funny to watch. But when I came out of that third session and I looked at everybody, I saw my partner's smiley face. I just felt love from him. I looked at the facilitator, I felt love. I looked at the other people and I saw myself in their eyes. I saw Jesus. I saw everybody that's ever been born. I saw their faces morphing into me. And I realized I am God and they are God and we're all one. And I thought we solved the problem. We've healed this entire planet. We've healed the universe. And I really felt that we were doing the work and that just stepping into the fear, by you stepping into the fear to do something to change your life for the better is doing the work. By you waking up, by becoming more conscious, by controlling with intention your imagination, by stopping the negative thoughts about you. Any of this is doing the work for all of us to become more connected and aligned. And I believed we finished it. We're good. We're in the Garden of Eden. It felt like that to me. And then as more time went by, my ego gelled even deeper. And then I looked around and said, I guess we haven't fixed it yet, because I'm back and it feels like it did, except I have a little bit more bliss and a little bit more space. And that's where I realized the work is being done, but while we're on this planet, it's not an easy task to live in singularity. So we're gonna live with our ego, but I guess the key is we're gonna just take this ego and this consciousness and create a little bit of space so that we can work through there in a much deeper and fuller way. So my goal with the medicine is to create a space where I get rid of the energy blockages, all my pre-past programs and my filters from the past, the energy and the things that I have not processed, and allow them to return to source so that I can be more loving, more kind, less judgmental, and more whole as a human being. And when I look at you, that I don't see you as somebody that's rich or poor, fat or skinny, black or white, sick or healthy. I just see you as you are, which is God in drag. And each of us showing up in a different way, in diversity, just to teach us more about ourselves as that divine being. And so I believe that's what it's about. And I hope this video helps you to gain some more clarity, at least on my experience. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, what your experiences are if you've experienced 5-MeO DMT. I would love to engage with you, but definitely like it, love it, share it if you have somebody that wants to hear it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video I do, which after this, by the way, I want you to know, because the facilitator came in a little bit too early and I wasn't done purging. Within about a week, I felt very uncomfortable in life, and I had some big problems that occurred after this. And I'll explain that on the next video that I do on 5-MeO DMT, which was profound again. So anyway, I honor you. Thanks for watching my video, and thanks for just being you. Remember, live authentically. Don't censor yourself. Be like the dog that barks. When it feels like barking, it doesn't think what the owner is going to think of me. It just does what it does naturally. And remember to elevate with love and great emotions and great thinking, and align, because you're a wonderful being. You are truly God in drag. Have a great day.